Hi and welcome to Pilates with Laura. I do hope that your 2001 is going well so far, but most importantly, I hope that you are keeping well. So let's get started. In our normal setup position, which is a seated position, please feel free to grab yourself any props that you might need in terms of blocks, cushions, pillows, anything that you think might make you more comfortable. So we're either in a cross-legged easy post position, or as I say, anything that feels right for you. The arms are relaxed, just landing in legs or in the lap or on your knees, and start to root through your sit bones. Maybe push the flesh away if you need to find that comfort. And think about the lengthening through the spine, from the base of the spine all the way up through the center line of the body, and the string coming from the top of our head and drawing us up towards the ceiling. So it's creating a feeling of lightness in the torso. Draw the shoulders up, back and down, and slide them in towards the spine. Try and find that openness in the chest and the stabilization in the mid to upper back. And from there we gently draw in on the core stabilizing muscles. So the zip that runs from pubic bone to navel is done a third of the way up, and the belt is done up to the third notch. So there would be 10 notches maximum. We don't want it that tight, so release it halfway, a little bit more to the third, so we've got that light connection through the core. Let's start with a few shoulder rolls. Just lift the shoulders up, back and around. Try and release any of the day's tension away from the shoulders. Just a couple more of these. Lastly, drawing those shoulders up, back and down, sliding them in towards the spine. Inhale. As you exhale, just drop the chin gently towards the chest. Inhale. And then gently take the ear towards the shoulder. As you exhale, inhale, and then exhale. Try and find that length into the neck. So repeating that sequence. And every time we come back in between stretches, just try and find that length into the spine, particularly through the cervical spine. So if we can create space between the vertebrae, then we're likely to get a little more of a stretch. Repetitions are there as a guide, so anyway through the sequence, you need to stop and find something that feels more comfortable for your body, then please do that. This is our last one. And then lastly, bring the neck into its neutral position and the chin parallel with the floor. We're going to inhale. As we exhale, float the arms up so the fingertips just land on the shoulders. We're going to start with some elbow circles, any direction that you like. So start with a bigger circle. So we really want to get that blood moving in the shoulders. There's quite a lot of stabilization exercises that the shoulders are going to be involved in today. So let's just do 2 more of these. And then just reverse for balance. So feel the shoulders start to get a little warmer. All the muscles in and around the shoulders. 2 more in this direction. And then just start to bring it smaller until it comes to a stop. We're going to inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to rotate to the right. Inhale through the center, rotate to the left. So we've got that feeling now of rotation coming through the torso with the shoulder blades anchored. Not the shoulder blades, the sit bones anchored on the mat. We would be in an entirely different position if our shoulder blades were anchored on the mat, which we will be a bit later on. 1 more to each side. And just good for good measure, float the arms down, then inhale, exhale, just rotate. Now let the arms relax. You can make a light fist and just give yourself a tap. Start to invigorate the muscles around the torso. We've got a couple more of these to each side. And then lastly, come through the center. Float your left arm down, inhale. And as we exhale, just lift up and over and bend from right to left. Inhale, exhale, same on the other side. So you can bend your supporting arm, give yourself a little bit more length. We're going to do this 3 more times to each side. Remember to keep the sit bones anchored and try and keep the distance between the ear to the shoulder. One more time to each side. And then lastly, come up through the center. So now we should be ready to start our mat practice. We're going to come rounded onto our backs. With the knees bent, hip distance apart, feet and the feet in line with the knees. Roll back and bring your arms by your side. A little bit of set up, adjust your feet if you need to for comfort. Think about the length again, stabilization in the shoulders, and a neutral position with the pelvis. So there's no tension in the lumbar spine at all. If there is, just gently tilt until you find a position that feels right for you. And then engage the core again. Zip, third of the way up, belt down to the third notch. And float the fingertips now to the temples, keeping the chest open, the elbows wide. Inhale to prepare. And exhale, just peel off the mat. Abdominal crunch. So we're only coming up just beyond the shoulder blades. So we don't want to activate any hip flexor just now. We want it to be about the core and the upper abdominals. 3 more times. Drawing the bottom rib down towards the hip. So last one. Relax down, bring the arms back by our sides. So maintaining that setup. Inhale, exhale, and just float one leg up to tabletop. So imprint into the mat if you need to. So enough pressure in the lumbar spine just to squeeze it right. Then inhale, exhale, float the other leg up. So we've got a 90-degree angle at the knee. If we're in a neutral position, then the shins will be parallel with the floor. And what we want to stop happening here is any doming in the lower abdominals. So we want that area to stay flat. So inhale to prepare. And as we exhale, hinging at the hip, the angle at the knee stays the same. We're going to tap the toes onto the mat. And then lift, inhale, and exhale and tap. So it's just a light tap. You can maybe imagine a little pool of water at the end of your mat, and we're just making the smallest of splashes. You can do this with one leg, single leg, and alternate if 2 legs is forcing your abdominal muscles to engage and dome up. So 2 more of these. And then we're going to change it to single leg. Rest if you need to. And now a little toe tap on each leg. So the movement becomes a little quicker. And then we're going to now bring in the upper body. So float the fingertips to the temples. And as the knee comes up, we're going to twist. Shoulder towards knee. Keeping the chest open. Space under the chin. We've got 2 more of those to each side. Rest if you need to, or hold it up in tabletop. Reach, small pulses. Reach, reach, reach. So a small movement in the upper abdominals. You can support your head if you need to. So if there's too much tension in your neck, support your head or push your tongue up into the roof of your mouth behind your teeth. We've got 5 more. That's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Head and shoulders down. One leg and then the other. Just lengthen out the legs, maybe to release through into the hips if you need to. And then reset. We're now going into shoulder bridge. So with the arms by our side, feet back to hip distance apart, knees in line with feet, length, stability, connection into the core. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, peel off the mat. You can come up onto the shoulder blades. Inhale, exhale, and roll back down again. So in the Pilates shoulder bridge, it's about alignment and stability. So we're not ballooning into the front of the body as we would in yoga. We want the knees to be visible in our eye line, just the tops of the knees. A light push into the heels, activating the backs of the legs, and also an activation into the glutes. Let's do one more like this, and then we're going to change it slightly. So posterior chain of muscles working in the back of the body. Now in the next one, we're going to take it up. We're going to go halfway down, back up, and all the way back down again. So a small pulsing movement, halfway down, back up, and all the way down. Let's do that one more time. And you can stay with this version of the move, or we're going to take it to pulsing at the top of the shoulder bridge. So we'll go halfway down, back up, halfway down, back up. So you should feel now there's quite a bit more activation coming into the glutes, or at least it feels like it is, because we're not fully releasing. So we're having to use blood in the muscles that's already been partially used, so it hasn't got as much oxygen. And that forces change to happen a little quicker than it normally would. 2 more times. Keeping the core engaged. And then we just roll all the way down. And just for a release, we're going to take knees in towards the chest. So our next version of this move is going to be the single leg version. So we're going to float the feet back down into their perfectly aligned position. Just check your length and your stability, your core connection. We're going to inhale and exhale, come up to the top of the shoulder bridge. And take your back leg, if you can, and bring it across and rest the foot on the thigh. Nothing else has changed. We've still got that stable position in the spine and the pelvis. So inhale, halfway down, exhale, lift up. So now we should feel quite a bit more going on in that supporting leg and the glutes on that side. So we're going to aim for up to 10 of these on each side. I hope you're counting. I reckon we've got 4 left. If it's not 10, it'll be close to it anyway. So this is our last one. Release that leg, float it down, roll down, so we get that just a little bit of release, and then roll back up again. Float the leg up, cross it over, so you're now lifting your other leg. Inhale, exhale. So you might feel stronger on one side than you do on the other, that's normal. But this is a really good way of balancing up any of those muscular imbalances that we tend to have in our everyday life, or if we play sports that are unilateral, just using one side of the body. I think we've got 2 more. And then float the leg and roll back down. And just to release, gently draw the knees, don't do anything too quickly in the opposite direction. And draw the knees in towards the chest. And release from side to side. if you need to. And then we're going to set up again for the tabletop. Now start to activate into the upper abdominals again, and the muscles, the obliques and the muscles in the waist. So create your stable foundation. Inhale and exhale, float one leg up. Inhale and exhale, and float the other leg up. And now we're going to support the head with one hand, and then take your back hand and just float it behind so your arm lays flat on the floor. You're going to inhale, and as we exhale, we come up, extending the back leg and reaching through to the outside of that front leg. Inhale, exhale. So it really doesn't matter how far you can reach. It's about maintaining that stability, hips pointing directly up to the ceiling, knees staying in line with the hip on that leg that's stationary, and reaching across to activate the muscles in the waist. So we've got 2 more of these on this side, and then we're going straight over and onto the other side unless you feel that you need a rest. So reach across to the outside of the leg. And again, if you prefer to support your head completely, then you can. And you would just do an oblique twist at the top. Shoulder towards knee, to keep the chest open. 2 more times on this side. And then release. Float one leg down, then the other. Roll yourself onto your side. We're going to support the head, bend the knees, and bring the heels in line with the base of the spine. So this could be interpreted by your brain as a fairly relaxed position, but we really don't want to be too relaxed here. We're going to maintain the stacking of the hips, so we're not tempted to slouch back or tip forward. We've got length into the spine, stability in the mid to upper back with that little pinch between the shoulder blades, so the chest is open. We've got engagement into the core, and your free hand can be in front of you on the mat or on top of that top thigh. Start to inhale, and as we exhale, just lift the feet, but the bottom knee is in contact with the mat. I'm going to start with the basic clam. Inhale, and then exhale, and open that top leg without changing the position of the hips. Inhale, exhale. So there's a small gap between the legs, so we're not completely resting, and the toes are staying in contact. So it's like a clamshell, opening and closing. Now if this is where you feel comfortable, this is absolutely fine. Space under the chin, start scrunching into the neck. Or after the next one, we'll take it to the flying clam. So with the flying clam, we open, now we extend that top leg. You can flex the foot, push the heel away, and then touch the toes together, and then close. So the movement is in 4 stages. We've got the opening, then the extension, and then the leg contracts back in, and then the shell starts to close. But not completely, if you can. So we should feel now that we're working mostly into the outer part of the hip. We've got 1 more after this one. Just enough to cause fatigue, for change to happen, and then release. Give yourself a little bit of a massage if you need one. Then we're going to come up and onto the forearm with the elbow. We're not really going to change the position of our legs too much here, only if you need to for comfort. So you might want to place a hand down for a little bit more support, but the elbow is directly under the shoulder. So again, open, pinch between the shoulder blades, engagement into the core. Take your free hand, if it feels comfortable to take it behind you, just for a little bit of extra support, and that helps to keep that chest open. Now if this gets uncomfortable at any point, you can either rest or you can go back to the clam. Now, it will force us to lean back, but try not to lean back too much. We're going to lift the knees. So we've still got that lifted position, it still feels really strong. We're going to start with an extension on the top leg. So just take it out and in, out and in. So we're balancing on the fleshy part of the underside of the hip. If you feel uncomfortable there, you can also maybe pop a small folded towel under there for comfort. Now you can stay with this, or I'm going to start to use the bottom leg as well. So it's just a bending and a straightening of the knee. And again, you can stay with that movement. This is what feels comfortable and challenging for you today. Is that a contradiction? Probably. Okay, a couple more like this, and then we're going to change it. We're going to bend the knees up and then away. So you're lifting your knees towards your chest without scrunching through the upper part of the body. And again, if this is where you want to stay, then you can. Otherwise, we'll do one more. We're going to add a change. On the extension, we're going to do a split. So bottom leg goes forward, top leg goes back. But the upper body is staying stable and strong. And the legs are straight as we do that split. 2 more of these. Remember to stop if anything gets really uncomfortable. And then release. Come up, maybe roll through the shoulder, and then come over onto the other side. Start with a clam. Support your head, bend the knees, heels in line with the base of the spine. So the brain will be anticipating that we are going to do the same on the other side, so maybe naturally your body's gone into the correct posture. When you're ready, you've lengthened, stabilized, connected to core, your hips are aligned. Inhale to exhale and lift the feet. Inhale, exhale to open, inhale to close your shell. Now something that's worth focusing on here is imagining that you've got a soft beach ball in between your legs and you're squeezing it as you close, and that will just bring some extra activation into the inner thigh. After the next one, if you want to go into flying clam, then we open, push the heel away, relax the foot as you bring it in, and then don't forget the beach ball. We want to get as much out of these leg muscles as we can. So you could imagine also that you're pushing and opening against a force. And even just the thought of that actually will cause the brain to activate more muscle fibers. It's amazing what we can do with just our mind. So let's do 2 more of these. Not leaning back, staying focused and aligned. And then lastly, we release and we push up onto the forearm. Little adjustment in your lower body position if you need to. Fully supported. And again, if you do need support under your forearm, particularly under the elbow, a small towel, nothing that's going to push you off balance. So get yourself ready. Take the arm up and behind to open through the chest. Lift the knees so the feet are in contact with the mat. You haven't leaned back too much. Start with a single leg extension. Inhale, exhale. So the breath It's going to bring some rhythm and flow into the movement. It's also going to keep the muscles fed with a supply of oxygen. Whenever you're ready, bottom leg comes in, and what you'll feel there, as the bottom leg starts to come into the movement, more activation in the muscles in the waist. So we're working really strongly into the core and into the waist. And also the shoulders having to stabilize as well. So a couple more of these, and then we're going to bring it to 2 legs, up and away. So drawing the knees up as close to the chest as you can without you losing your body position through the torso. So we're aiming for as much range of movement. One more like this, and then we're going to add the split. And the top leg comes forward, the bottom leg comes forward, top leg goes back. Or, to be honest, whatever feels natural for you. You can try switching it around. See what feels best. The main thing is that everything is done with control and quality of movement. One more after this one. And then release in a controlled way. Roll through that shoulder. Maybe have a stretch if you feel you need one. And then we're going to come onto all fours. Sit back on the heels, maybe release out through the hips. There's quite a lot more work now going to go on in the hips and glutes. So we want to make sure that they feel comfortable. And then come down into your 4-point kneeling position. The hands are under the shoulders, the knees are under the hips. Spread the fingers and push into the hands. The whole of the hand. If you have any problems with your wrist, please feel free to come back to child's pose anytime you need to. And also, again, it may help to have some cushioning under there. So a folded up towel, just enough to give you some cushion and support. So once we've got that length, stability, the hips are pointing down to the mat. We've engaged into the core. Inhale and exhale, extend your front leg back. So it's just touching the mat and no more. We're going to inhale to prepare. And then exhale, lift the leg hip height. Inhale, little tap. So a light toe tap like we did at the start with the double toe drop, double leg drop. Activation into the glutes. Engagement into the core. Stability in the shoulders. 2 more times, and then have a rest if you need one. Or we're going to take the leg up. We're going to bend the knee, and we're now going to make a scorpion tail shape with the leg, so the toes are pointing. Small pulses. So you're opening the hip. You're squeezing into the bum. And we're aiming for 5 more. Try not to lean on that back leg. Hold, extend, and this time we're going to take it wide and then back in, hip height. Wide, hip height. Wide, hip height. So we're getting into the side of the hips again, just in a different position. No leaning on that back leg. The control comes from the center. Shoulders away from the ears. 2 more of these. And then back in line, release, take a release back, bum onto the heels, arms out in front, relax the chest and the rib cage over the thighs, and then relax the head. Same on the other side. Inhale, come up, 4-point kneeling. If you do need to release your hands, your wrists, then just circle them around. Maybe have a little stretch both directions and just try and release that tension if there is any tension there. The wrists will get strong, so like everything, the more we do it with practice, we get strength into those small muscles in the wrist. But most of the control, remember, comes from the center. So the shoulders and the wrist muscles are just ancillary muscles, just assisting. So let's take the back leg back. Sit up, extend, inhale, and exhale, lift, and then tap. So it's the back leg now that's lifting, or it's definitely the other leg. Just make sure that you're not doing the same leg, that's the most important thing. So we're aiming to keep that leg straight, and the eye line is down on the mat, in front of the hands, keeping the neck long. Just one more of these, and then bend the knee, scorpion tail. So you feel that activation in the glutes straight away, and then the small pulses. Softness in the elbows, shoulders away from the ears, not leaning into that supporting leg, otherwise we'll end up scrunching up into the hip on that side. You want to keep space in the joints. 5 more. And then release. And now the wide tap in line with the hip. Wide tap in line with the hip. So keep the length into the neck. When we start to work a little harder, tension starts to creep in. Probably going to creep into the neck and shoulders. So keep that length. 2 more. Tapping as wide as you feel you can. And then back into alignment. Release. And back into child's pose. We're going to come round and onto our fronts. To work the postural muscles, the shoulders will get a rest. The hips will get a rest. Bring the arms by your side with the palms facing up. Start to think about that length into the spine. The legs are hip distance apart. Lengthen the legs. Stabilize the shoulders. Engage into the core. Inhale. And as we exhale, we peel the breastbone off the mat and turn the palms towards the mat. Inhale to lower. And exhale to lift. So as you lift, string coming from the top of your head, drawing you towards the wall. Shoulders stabilizing down in towards the spine. So it's the postural muscles that are causing us to lift off the mat. We've got the core engaged to lengthen out the lower back. There may be an activation going on into the glutes, and it may be that we need that to keep the muscles in the lower back long. We've got 2 more. So this is our last one. Eye line down, chin tucked. And then release. From here, we're going to push up. We're going to come into a position for a high plank. This is our last exercise. So you're either going to be in modified high plank, the hands under the shoulders, elbows soft, lengthen to the spine. We've got this static, up to 10 breaths to finish, or if you would like to come up and onto your toes. Inhale, make sure the core is engaged, tuck the toes under, and come up into a full high plank. So we've got alignment with the shoulders, hips, knees. Draw up into the knees and push the heels away. Softness into the elbows. you're going to bring the back knee. Inhale to exhale, knee towards the elbow. Inhale, exhale, opposite. You're going to aim to keep the hips in alignment with the shoulders. So obliques again. Muscles in the waist, knee towards opposite elbow. Our last exercise. Now you can start to step up the tempo, but maintain the control. Knee close to the mat. We've got 4 more. And then knees down, release feet, push back. Now, a little bit of active recovery for the shoulders. Let's be kind to our shoulders now. Take the knees wide, feet together, and the arms wide. So wider than the mat. First of all, inhale and exhale, sink down. Rest the head. Relax the arms. And then release. Halfway up. Inhale, exhale. Drop the back shoulder down towards the mat. Inhale, exhale, release front shoulder. So feel a really nice stretch into the front of the shoulder. Dropping the shoulder, dropping the head. We're going to do 1 more of these to each side. And then hold it halfway up. Take the back arm, thread it under, palm up, and then drop down onto the shoulder and onto the head if you can. And push the heels back towards the bum. So a nice stretch into the back of the shoulder now. And then release. We'll do the same on the other side. Drop down. Relax. Relax the supporting arm. Relax the head and neck. And then release. From here we're going to come onto our backs for some stretching for the hips, for the hamstrings. So laying on our back, we're going to start just by drawing both knees in towards the chest. Hold the back of the thighs or the front of the shins. Keep the knees nice and wide so the knees are coming up towards the chest. Or if you're really flexible, maybe up towards your armpits. And then release. 1 foot, back foot down towards the mat. Inhale and exhale, extend that leg. So we did the shoulder bridge at the start a little while ago, but hopefully the hamstrings still feel quite warm. Hold on to the back of the thigh or up on the calf. Relax your upper body. Maintain a light engagement into the core. Inhale, exhale, draw that leg in. Keep the tailbone in contact with the mat. This is where if you had a yoga strap or a tie or something, you could use that to assist you with this stretch if you felt you needed it. Just using the breath, inhaling, and as we exhale, muscles will relax a little. And then release. Carefully, place the foot onto your other thigh. Take a little stretch through the hip, just opening up the hip, pushing on the inside of the knee or down the bottom of the thigh, close to the knee. And then release. Good to lift and reach through. Thread needle stretch for the hips. Take hold of the thigh and just draw the leg in. Try to relax the muscles. You could relax them with just a little bit of movement, just to stop any tension building up. Using the breath, muscles will relax more on the exhale. and then release. Press that foot down. We'll do the same on the other side. Draw the knee into chest, extend. Hold on wherever is comfortable. Remember not to hold on to the back of the knee itself. This leg, forgot to mention on the other side, can straighten out if that feels comfortable for you. Try and create lightness in the leg. Inhale, exhale, draw a little closer. Try not to lift your tailbone off the mat, otherwise we just lose that stretch into the hamstring. And then carefully release this foot. Pressure on the hip. Just open it out. And then release. You could stay with that if you find this uncomfortable. Just stay with that opening hip stretch. Draw the leg in. No tension, apart from a light tension through the core, still stabilizing. And then carefully release. Going to roll over onto our side. I'm going to finish with a few cat and cow stretches. Hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Inhale. As you exhale, tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone into cat, so arching the back. Inhale, bend the elbows, lead with the chin, lift the chin and lift the tailbone. Exhale to cat. Inhale and exhale, so mobility for the spine. A massage for the spine. Get that fluid moving around the spine. Drawing the chin in, leading with the chin as we come forward, so we're getting all the way up, even into the cervical spine, and then into the brain as well. So fluid moving around. So one more each of these, starting and finishing with the cat. And then release. Come onto your heels, take a little seat, just roll the shoulders. There was quite a lot in the shoulders today, so let's just finish off with a little bit of stretch for the shoulders. Bring one arm across in front without any pressure on the elbow. Just draw it in towards the chest. So you can either hold here or here. Let's do the same on the other side. Well, thank you very much for joining me today. Remember your options. And for your effort and your energy. Even though I can't see you, I know it's there. Clasp the fingers, inhale. Exhale, open up through the chest. And hopefully you feel better after that. Release. So, once again, thank you for joining me. I will hopefully see you again soon. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day.